Welcome. Today is Sunday, December 23rd, 2018. Here's what's what. On December 25th, 1643, Dutch seafarers sighted an island in the Indian Ocean. Its discovery at Christmas determined its name. Christmas Island lies in the Indian Ocean between Australia and Indonesia and was first seen by the Dutch sailor William Myners and his crew on Christmas Day, 1643. The 135 square kilometer, 52 miles, patch of volcanic provenance with its 1,400 inhabitants has been part of Australia since 1957. Divers in particular are attracted to the areas off the island as the vibrant underwater world attracts with colorful coral reefs and the presence of majestic whale sharks that visit the bays between November and April. The fauna of Christmas Island is also fascinating, with around 80,000 seabirds nesting here every year and red crayfish migrating regularly along the island's beaches. Federal health officials say there's a disturbing rise in the number of suicides among veterinarians. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that death by suicide rates for the group have been higher than usual for the last 3 decades. Female veterinarians appear to be most at risk. Female doctors are 3.5 times as likely to take their own lives as any other Americans. The study is the first to show increased suicide mortality among female veterinarians and comes as women account for more than 60% of the veterinarian workforce in the U.S. Male veterinarians are 2.1 times as likely to kill themselves as the general population. The study notes specifically that veterinarians working in clinical medicine and with companion animals face high levels of occupational stress related to factors such as long working hours, unexpected outcomes, and having to communicate bad news. In recent days, a growing number of people have been noticing a loop phenomenon where, during transatlantic calls, they hear recordings of people to whom they had been speaking. A number of callers described experiences where their international call was cut off, but then a recording of a call is played back to them. This occurs when they're not on the phone anymore. They receive the recorded voice of the person they were speaking to played back to them, even as they see on call waiting that the person is trying to call them back, and were then cut off. Sometimes after exactly 2 minutes, a caller will hear the conversation of another person from the beginning, comparable to an audio loop. One theory suggests a midpoint carrier may make extra profits by getting people to repeat themselves while altering what they'll tell other companies regarding how long the call was. Using this trick, they can charge the person extra without having to share the full profits for the multiple calls, since the companies involved believe there was only one call. When a call goes international and anywhere along the way runs through a slower or more limited network, these inherent problems are more likely to impact the consumer, such as sending certain calls in a constant loop. Turning to birthdays for today, December 23rd. Harry Shearer is 75. Harry is an American actor, voice actor, comedian, writer, musician, radio host, director, and producer. Shearer co-created, co-wrote, and co-starred in the 1984 film This Is Spinal Tap. He was a cast member on Saturday Night Live, and in 1989 he joined the cast of the animated sitcom The Simpsons. He provides voices for characters including Mr. Burns, Waylon Smithers, Principal Skinner, Ned Flanders, Reverend Lovejoy, Kent Brockman, Dr. Hibbert, and more. Susan Lucci turns 72. Susan is an American actress, television host, author, and entrepreneur, best known for portraying Erica Kane on the ABC daytime drama All My Children from 1970 to 2011. The character is considered an icon, and Lucci has been called daytime's leading lady. She is the highest paid actor in daytime television. As early as 1991, her salary had been reported at over $1 million a year. A Kansas man who spent 17 years in prison for a crime committed by his doppelganger just received a $1.1 million settlement for his wrongful incarceration. Richard Anthony Jones was convicted of aggravated robbery in 2000 after a witness identified him as the culprit. He maintained his innocence, and he was finally freed after the Midwest Innocence Project tracked down a man who looked just like Jones and lived near the crime scene. When shown photos of Jones and the new suspect, the witness recanted and a judge ordered Jones to be freed. His doppelganger, Ricky Lee Amos, refused to admit he committed the crime and could not be charged because the statute of limitations had passed. Under a new false conviction law, Jones was granted $1.1 million, a certificate of innocence, and will have the record of his arrest and conviction expunged, along with the destruction of any biological samples associated with his case. The settlement also ordered the state to pay for counseling and will allow Jones to enroll in the state health care benefits program for the next 2 years. Donald Moffat died at the age of 87 on Friday. The veteran stage and film actor passed away from complications of a recent stroke. Donald was born in the United Kingdom in 1930 and moved to the U.S. when he was 26 years old. He is best known for his movie work as Gary, the station commander in the horror classic The Thing with Kurt Russell, and as Lyndon B. Johnson in Philip Kaufman's The Right Stuff, about America's first astronauts with Ed Harris. He is survived by his wife, 4 daughters, 10 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. According to a report released Thursday by California State Auditor Elaine Howell, San Diego County failed to set appropriate targets to vaccinate at-risk county residents and did not determine the amount of resources, such as nurses, that would be needed to fulfill vaccination efforts. While an average of 20 new hepatitis A cases were confirmed each week from May to mid-September 2017, vaccinations only increased significantly by September. According to the auditor's report, vaccinations in September and October totaled more than 41,000 compared to about 7,700 in August. The spike in vaccinations led to a decrease in new cases, suggesting that the county could have limited the outbreak earlier in the year. The city and county of San Diego also failed to improve sanitation conditions in a timely manner, failing to increase access to hand sanitizing stations and public restrooms until September 2017. According to the audit, such dysfunction was due to the county's failure to inform the city of San Diego how severe the outbreak became. The sun has been without sunspots for 212 days in 2018, that is, 60% of the time. To find a similar stretch of blank sun, you have to go back to 2009, when the sun was experiencing the deepest solar minimum in a century. Solar minimum has returned, bringing extra cosmic rays, long-lasting holes in the sun's atmosphere, and strangely pink auroras. Giant rodents known as capybara have enjoyed a winter treat at a zoo in Nasu, north of Tokyo, a hot bath infused with aromatic yuzu citrus fruit. Dipping into a hot bath is a winter solstice tradition among Japanese people. The bathing capybaras are a winter attraction at Nasu Animal Kingdom. Zookeepers say the animals, originally from South America, don't like cold weather. Zoo staff floated around 100 yuzu fruits in a hot tub on Friday. They added an extra treat of apples and pumpkins, which the animals love to eat. Visitors snapped photos of the capybaras, relaxing and enjoying the treats. One elementary school girl said she enjoyed watching cute capybaras balancing yuzu atop their heads. The rodents can enjoy the hot bath, and visitors can enjoy watching them until Monday. Austria is showcasing a series of exhibitions to underline the 200th anniversary of the famous Christmas carol that was sung publicly for the first time on December 24, 1818. The lyrics of Stille Nacht, known in English as Silent Night, were written by assistant pastor Joseph Mohr in the Austrian state of Salzburg. 2 years later, Mohr was transferred to another parish, Orbendorf, where he asked the local school teacher and organist Franz Gruber to compose music for his poem. As Austrian art historian and director of the Salzburg Museum points out, Silent Night has since become one of the most famous pieces sung by Christians around the world. The lyrics were translated into nearly 300 languages and dialects, demonstrating that the song works everywhere. Austrians are undoubtedly proud that this early international hit was written in their country, even though it should be noted that Salzburg, its region of origin, moved during that period back and forth between the Empire of Austria and the Kingdom of Bavaria. Scientists report they have genetically altered pothos ivy to filter certain hazardous chemicals from household air. Many people use HEPA air filters to reduce levels of allergens and dust particles in their homes, but the molecules of chemicals benzene and chloroform are too small to be trapped in these filters. Chloroform is present, in small amounts, in chlorinated water. Benzene, a component of gasoline, can accumulate in homes through showering or boiling water, or by keeping cars and lawnmowers in attached garages. Both benzene and chloroform exposure have been linked to cancer. Now houseplants have been engineered to remove these pollutants. The researchers genetically modified pothos ivy to remove chloroform and benzene from the air around it. The altered plants produce a protein called 2E1 that transforms chloroform and benzene into molecules the plants can use for growth. When placed in glass tubes with either benzene or chloroform gas, the modified plants reduced chloroform levels by 82% after 3 days, and the gas was almost undetectable by day 6. Benzene levels dropped by about 75% after 8 days. The researchers said they're now adding another protein to pothos ivy that can break down formaldehyde, a gas found in many wood products and tobacco smoke.